Okay, this is a recording tutorial for the budgeting assignment. Some people asked for a video, so I'm going to attempt to do that. We've already gone through task number 1 about making the budget sheet, so I'm not going to look at that right now. What I am going to look at right now is task number 2, starting to fill in things. So our first one is income. I'm going to go through the two options here. I think that I'll do that as a video, and then I'll go through and start to look at expenses as a separate video. So option number 1 is by far the easiest. What you do is you take your $13 an hour times 40 hours per week multiplied by 4.3 weeks in a month. And you're going to get $2,236. Now, there's going to be some things that come off of that. So this calculator here by the Government of Canada helps us figure out how much money you would actually get to keep. No, I don't want to do a survey. So you scroll down until you find the part that says use the calculator. And you say, I accept. Basically, the Government of Canada is saying, if your employer does a different calculation, you can't blame the Government of Canada. We're going to tell it we're getting a salary. So we hit next. We're not going to worry about our name or anything like that, but we are going to tell it that we are in Saskatchewan and that we get paid monthly. We're also going to give it this year. The year is the only real thing that's important to them doing the calculation, but might as well give them the date as well. Now, we calculated that we were getting $2,236 in our pay period. We are getting no vacation pay, we get no bonuses, and we don't have any of this stuff. We're going to say that we don't have any union dues or anything like that. If you did have union dues, you could go ahead and check that, but for now, we're just going to say nothing else applies. Also, we're going to say we are not a member of the clergy. Next. Total claim amount for employer's federal T form. So this is the minimum claim amount. This is where you can start to think about how much money you would expect to make in a year. For now, go with the minimum. This means that they will take off the tax for this amount. Now, in reality, you might want to change this to the 26,000 one. That would be a more accurate tax amount that they would take off. But for ours, we'll just say minimum. Requested tax, additional tax deductions. We're not asking them to take off extra tax. Some people do that because they know that they're going to be making income from something else. And when it comes tax time, they want to not have to pay additional taxes. So then, Canadian pension plan, we're just going to leave it as what it is, year to date. And we're just going to say blank blank. I'm just going to leave those blank there and say calculate. So here it says this is our salary that we're going to have that much federal tax come off, this much provincial tax come off, this much CPP come off, this much EI come off. As a result, we're going to make $1,890.84. So in my sample budget, I'm going to take that amount. I'm going to go and say, okay, that is how much money I made. $1,890.84. We're going to say I don't have a spouse, and I'm not selling anything online. And so I'll set up my total. This equals the sum of these three things added together. You should have already taken a tutorial on how to create formulas. And there's my total. Now, we'll get into the expenses later, but that's option 1 of how to go through and pick this job. Option number 2. Option number 2 is where I would like to make more than $2,000 or $1,890 a month. And so I'm going to go and get a different job. I'm going to go ahead and click on SAS Jobs here. And that brings up this website. I've already restricted it to Regina. That's the link I put there. So there's 1,859 jobs that are being advertised in the city. There's also jobs that aren't being advertised on this site, but these are the ones that are advertised here. I could do a search, or I could filter by occupation. Personally, I think I'd probably make some more money if I was working in a bank. So I'm going to do a job search, and I'm going to say finance. I would like to do something with finances. I'm going to leave the job program blank, the job source blank. I just want to look at all jobs. I'm going to leave the occupation blank. I want to search all these categories, but I am confined to Regina. Search. 15 jobs that have to do with finances. So now I can take a look down here and I can see the employer. Now, as I look at these, I'm going to see if there's any banks that I recognize, because finances, thinking about banks. None of those look like banks. So now, thinking about other kinds of jobs, finance manager, that'd be interesting. Could work for the Rough Riders. I'm a big fan of football. Livestock services. Well, I don't do livestock, but this is accounts receivable, and so we're talking about doing finances. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. Now, when you open up the job, some jobs will actually tell you what they pay hourly. So this one is a range, $20.20 to $25.31. It probably depends on your qualifications on where they would put you in there. You're just going to be in this scenario coming straight out of university, so you probably are going to be at the lower end of that. So let's see, $20.20 times 40 hours a week times 4.3 weeks. That's $3,475 before tax. That is more than the other job, but I want even just a little bit more. If I could get closer to the $25 to $30 range. So let's take a look at the riders. This one doesn't give, has no salary. Also, says temporary to full-time, approximately 13 months. I want something a little more permanent than that. Bookkeeper, Optimum Roofing, again, doesn't give a price. Does say permanent full-time. So let's take a look. Bookkeeper. Now, if we think that a job's good, but we don't have a price range on it, what we can do is we can go to the second thing where we can look at Relevance Magazine, and we're going to look up bookkeeping in this. So what this does, this magazine here, it goes through different jobs throughout the province. Contents. We are looking for the job chart, page 21 to 35. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in page 21 here, hit enter. And that brings me down to the job chart. So I'm looking for bookkeeping. So bookkeeping. Banking. Most of this is alphabetical, but it's also by category. So I can't remember what the blue category is. I'm just looking for bookkeeping. Payroll clerk. Collect and process payroll information. That's similar to bookkeeping. So I'm going to see if I can find the word bookkeeping. But if not, oh, you'll see, actually there's the categories. So natural and applied science is blue. What was the heading above it? Business, finance, and administration. Okay, so accounting and related clerks. Prepare bills, invoices, budgets. I think this is the one that oh, here we are, accounting technicians and bookkeepers. So we found our line, and it looks like our wage is anywhere from 31,000 to 68,000. So we're going to take the average of that. So we're going to add 31,200 to 68,640. And then we're going to divide that in half. So 49,920. So now I go back to my payroll thing. I want to redo this. I'm just going to click on the payroll deductions online calculator. We're going to start from the beginning. Salary, Saskatchewan, monthly, kept all of this information. So that's nice. Once you've done it once, if you don't close that tab, it just keeps that. This is changing though, because we just calculated 49,920 a year. Divide that by 12 months. So 4,160. That's sounding more like what I was hoping for. Next. Again, if you keep the minimum here, that's fine. But because I know I'm going to make about 48,000 a year, I'm just going to say, actually, no, let's just keep it on the minimum. Keep it simple. Calculate. So I will be making $3,212.28 a month. So now I can go to my budget, and instead of 1,800, what was it? 3,212. 3,212.28. There we go. And so that's an example of the two different ways that you could find your income. Option 1 or option 2, looking up a job and then looking up the wage that goes with it in Saskatchewan. I hope that helps you complete the first part of task number 2.